Good morning, everybody. It is the Going On Daily Live morning show. I am Ron Rigo, and my co-host is none other than Martin Blanco. Good
None
morning,
other.
Martin.
Good morning, Ron. How are you?
I am doing fantastic.
Excellent.
I'm very excited.
Say more.
Today could possibly be our best episode ever.
Oh boy, pressure's on.
The pressure is on.
Okay.
I've got
High bar.
the toughest Ron's top 5 I've ever done.
Okay.
And to this moment, I feel like I need to change some things.
Oh my God, up to the minute. This is live.
Up
This
to the
really
minute.
is dynamic.
And
All right.
it is very difficult because I am going to leave off at least a dozen things that I wanted to be in there. At least a dozen.
This is where the top 5 breaks down. When we've got a dozen things that belong in addition to the top 5.
Exactly. Hugo's already here this morning. Good morning, Hugo.
Morning, Hugo.
LFG, of course. He's got some weird face because we're like seconds late.
Okay.
Literally seconds.
Mm.
Hugo, thank you for being here as always. Very supportive. Look, if you want to support the show, right? You want to support, you can go to YouTube and watch us live there and all the other shows that we feature on Rhode Island Broadcasting. You can do that by going to Rhode Island Broadcasting at YouTube. It's easy. Just type it in.
Right.
Comes right to us. And subscribe. Click that little bell so you always know when we go live in the mornings. And you can also watch us live on Facebook. There's 10,000 followers on Facebook. You may want to be one of them. You may want to.
Yes, you do.
So you can also support the show by donating some stars. I'd like to get stars. How about you, Martin?
I'd love to get some stars. I don't think I have any stars.
I'm sure you have some stars.
You think I have some stars?
Sure you do. Yes.
I'm very insecure.
Sure.
The paucity of stars is no good.
Yes, we all want them. So
Crave them.
It would be nice. It would be nice. You can also support the show by watching us live, of course, on Twitch at RI_broadcasting. And just like stars, you can support the show with bits. You send us 2 bits and 2 stars, we can both put our 2 cents in.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
We can't put our 2 cents in if you don't send them to us. But if you really want to support the show, just go to Patreon at RI Broadcasting, and you can get some great merch like this mug filled with my tea. Martin, for the first time ever, I have no sugar in my tea.
Really? What? And why is that?
Because I need to cut down my sugar.
Okay.
My doctor is going to kill me.
Your doctor or something else, right? Okay.
That's right. So, exactly.
Okay. So what kind of tea you're drinking? Depending on the maybe you don't need the sugar.
Just regular tea.
Okay. Little lemon juice, maybe. Little lemon juice.
No, I put like a dash of milk.
Okay. Well,
and it's lactose-free milk too.
Okay.
By the way.
It's a healthy beverage. I support your efforts to cut down on sugar. So
it's not easy.
There. Okay.
It doesn't taste any different though. It doesn't taste any different.
All right. Well, then you don't need the sugar. Yeah, it's an easy. That's low fruit, so to speak. Good. Sugar done from the tea.
Yeah. So, it's a start, right? It's a beginning. Beginning. It's only the beginning.
Oh, great song, Chicago.
I like that, huh?
I like the long one with that big jam in the middle. They don't always play that on the radio.
I know.
When they do, I get excited.
I love the horns in their music so much.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh my God.
They're great.
Great band. Great band.
Absolutely.
I mean, they've changed throughout history too with different band members, and
they had some,
and they've still been great.
Some hard times. Yeah,
no matter what.
Absolutely. Hey, you
25 or 6 to 4. That's my jam.
Okay.
Love it.
Hugo's extolling the virtues of Earl Grey tea. And I agree. Earl Grey is. I love that the flavor profile of the Earl Grey. But one company, I forgot which one now, makes a lady Grey tea, and I like it because they add extra citrus and bergamot in it. It's just, I mean, the name. Sometimes I'm a little like I'd like some lady Grey tea and see if people make fun of me, but I like the citrus and the bergamot. So
See, I got to be honest with you.
yeah,
I have never had anything other than black tea.
really, all
Never
right.
had
Well,
anything.
dip your toe see what you
I,
think. There's a lot. I mean, there's
I'm that
thousands.
stereotype, right? I'm that stereotype. Once you go
Okay,
black,
once you go by, I see. I suppose. I suppose there's some
I
truth in
had to
that.
put it out there. I
Okay,
had to put it out there.
it's Monday. It's Monday.
It
We're
is
gonna
Monday,
we're gonna
and
kick
you know
off the
what? If
week
you
with a
can't
bang. Yeah.
look, if you can't make jokes about things, I mean, then
About
what
tea.
are you
Yeah.
on this planet for, right?
Right.
I mean,
Gotta
you can't
laugh.
take everything so serious.
Yeah. Laugh at our
This is the
human
show
fun.
to come. This is the one. This is the one you need to watch every day, and you get all kinds of content. Kyle is here. Good morning, Kyle. Glad to see you here. Look, we're gonna go right into the first thing, and this is one of those reasons why we need to don't take things so seriously, because it's forever changing and it's always doom and gloom, right?
Mm.
So let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
PG-13, thank you, Hugo. We've had a lot of those episodes lately.
Thanks to me.
It all started with you, Martin,
Thanks to
dropping that
me.
F-bomb.
Me and the late William Hurt. Sorry.
Yeah, it opened up the floodgates.
Oh, God.
All right, so full closure, right?
Okay.
And you know, it's like what? Full disclosure
Yeah.
is
This is
the actual
different.
saying.
Yeah.
But full closure really fits because the retail business, the retail world is just crumbling right now.
Mm.
Crumbling. Now, we've had stories about these things throughout like the past, I don't know,
20
three
years.
quarters of a year, right? We've been doing these stories. And it seems like it's one after another after another. Got word that Neiman Marcus, the
Okay.
flagship of Saks Global
Mm.
in downtown Dallas, they are closing that location.
Did not hear that. I'm surprised on Saks. Okay.
So they're closing their flagship store in downtown Dallas.
Mm.
They've been trying to work out a deal with the landlord. I mean, you would think they would just
I would think
buy.
right. I would have thought, given the legacy of the company, that they were in their flagship store, they were the landlord. I would have thought.
Yeah, they are not.
I would have been wrong.
And talks broke down, and the landlord ended up terminating their occupancy effective March 31st.
Oh boy. Everything must
So,
go. Everything must go, literally.
right.
Wow.
And I mean, that's their number one location, right? That's it. That's the one.
All right. So the issue, this is more of a real estate issue than a retail issue. I mean, it's affecting a retail company, but this doesn't. Is they saying that sales are down, or is just that they need to
Well,
find a
yeah,
new home?
because they haven't been able to pay their
The
landlord.
rent. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, when you put it that way, I can see where the
Yeah,
problem
they
is.
haven't been able to pay them.
Right. So maybe Mr. Landlord isn't as evil as we think. Yeah. Pay the rent.
So they estimate that out of all of retail, there will be 15,000 stores closing this year. Not just this on Neiman Marcus, all of retail. Right. 15,000.
Okay.
You throw in Joann's closing of 800 stores, and then the rest of them are all being sold off. So then you have Macy's announcing they're closing 66 stores as part of their new strategy. Yeah, to go bankrupt. That's their new strategy. Right. Go bankrupt. Including closing down the LA Broadway store.
Wow.
And that's a big one. That's iconic.
Yeah. Yeah, real
you
canary in
know?
the coal mine. If you're not selling there,
Right.
then how are you doing in the hinterlands, right?
Yeah, they're not doing very well.
Okay.
That's what it comes down to. Kohl's also closing down the San Bernardino fulfillment site and 27 stores in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, and Texas.
Okay.
Liberated Brands also starting to close stores.
What
Just sell everything
everything
online. And
online?
that's the
Yeah.
problem, right? That's the
Yeah.
problem. That's what
Sure.
everybody's doing. But the problem is they're not buying from these stores either. They're buying from Amazon.
I've been buying a lot less from Amazon, a lot less as of late, for many reasons, not least of all, I Monopoly's not good. I like different stores
I do too.
competing for my dollar and giving me a variety of choices and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's how you keep costs down.
Yep.
And we know we're going to have that problem. Also, of course, Walgreens closing more than 1,200 stores.
Wow.
Um, Look, 500 of them are going to be gone by August.
Okay. Wow.
I
Nationwide
mean,
or in a particular
oh,
part of the country?
nationwide, yes.
Nationwide.
Yep.
Okay.
CVS, since 2021, they announced they were closing 900 stores,
Mm,
300 of which was last year. They have not stated the closures for 2025 as of yet.
okay.
Amazon had 2020 broke brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, Hugo's right. I mean, the rise of Amazon in the aughts and then the pandemic, and that was a brutal 1-2 over the course of 2 decades.
Yeah, yeah, it was tough for
Yeah.
a lot of people. I know I'm one of those victims, to be
Oh,
honest with you.
okay.
I had a thriving video game tournament business going,
Oh,
and then you can't have any gatherings. So, boom, that was it.
okay.
Shut
Yeah.
down.
Uh,
And then we tried to come back, and just the people weren't there because online gaming was so much better than what it was before
together.
COVID.
Okay. Okay.
So that made a big difference.
Mhm.
Also, Party City, 700 stores by February 28th of this year. So they've already closed all of those stores,
Mm,
which I've seen them disappear
mhm.
completely. And then you throw on top of that, all of that, Bank of America closing branches.
Huh.
Everybody's online banking.
Okay.
So yeah, it is. They say that banks are disappearing at a rate of 1,600 plus a year in the
Now,
last few years.
okay, so that would be branches. I'm wondering if there's going to be more consolidation of your local banks, which there are some, but over the
Right.
last 2 decades, it's been brutal on the local. And I love local banks. That's where I
I
put
do
my
too.
money. They take good care of you, wherever you live. And I would hate to
Right.
see that collapse.
Yeah, and
And
that's a
lose
big
a lot of
problem
power.
because you get in some of the banks that are doing quite well, and they're buying up the other banks.
Yeah.
Most of them are the smaller
Mhm.
banks that are privately owned,
Mm.
which there probably aren't a whole lot of those left. And I know TD Bank in Boston has been closing some branches as well.
Interesting.
So I'm a little worried about the home of the Celtics
I
and
was gonna say,
Bruins,
get worried when
TD
when
Garden.
stadiums close, right. There we go. Well,
That's a little troublesome.
I don't wanna live in the world where it's Amazon Stadium in every city, right? Or
I
Apple
don't want to
Stadium.
live in that world either.
Uh,
I mean, you still have other players, but they're dwindling, right? I
mhm.
mean, when we hear now, I don't know if they've closed any of Walmart has closed any stores or not. I doubt it. But I mean, when you start hearing that, that's troublesome.
That's the death knell for the brick and mortar.
Yeah, there are a ton of banks that were here where I live got
Mm.
closed, now an hour away. Yeah, and now it's almost at a point where a lot of people have to do online banking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So banks started with no Saturdays, then no more.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that too. A lot of banks aren't open on Saturdays now,
Mm.
which is why not just open on like the weekends? Because when you think about it, most of the people have, like time off on the weekends.
Mhm. Well,
So why
sure.
not keep them open on the weekends and close like say Tuesday
Wednesday.
and Wednesday?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
We
It
are
is. Go
because
ahead.
we're in flux. We're a society in flux.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of it's getting scary. Restaurants, nobody's safe right now.
Mm.
Nobody's safe. I see restaurants closing down all the time.
Mhm.
Mm. So, yeah, so that's full closure.
Okay.
Um, I'm sure in the next week or so you're gonna hear another one. You're gonna hear another one. You're
Sure.
gonna keep hearing them.
Sure.
We know J.C. Penney also filed for bankruptcy.
Okay.
So, there's so many. There's so many.
Yeah.
We we had a time where you go, you get your toys at Toys R Us.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
you go to Sears or you go to J.C. Penney, you get your clothing.
Right?
I mean, those
We
times.
we have changed.
Now Macy's. I mean, how is Macy's struggling? Are they going to rename the parade?
I was just gonna say, welcome to the Amazon Thanksgiving Day Parade.
How horrible would that be?
The Jeff Bezos parade. Yeah, terrible. The only thing worse than that would be the Mark Zuckerberg Thanksgiving Day parade. That would be
It just made me cringe.
I'm sorry.
Made me cringe, Martin.
It's an episode of what Black Mirror that we're doing here.
All right. If there's one thing steady out there, it is, our planets, right? They're
Yes.
all they're
No.
all there. They're going to be there a
Yes.
long time.
Yes.
What about
Uh-oh.
Jupiter's red dot? I hear that one's like disintegrating or something.
It's not disintegrating. It's getting smaller. And I'm just having bear with me. I'm having a technical problem on my end, and I'm looking to get my visual back. Oh, here we go.
Oh, you can't
All right.
see
So
us.
yeah, I couldn't see you. Jupiter. Well, okay. So Jupiter's red. Do you know what Jupiter's big red spot is?
I thought it was just gas.
It's red wine. It's a very big red wine spill. No,
Oh,
it's
that would be great. Makes me want to go there right now.
what the red spot is, and you're on. Because it's atmospheric. So yes, gas. It's a storm. It's an enormous storm.
Wait, so that
That I
thing's
mean,
moving?
that thing is moving. That thing is
Is it
moving
really? Oh
at
shit!
least 400 miles per hour, up to speeds of 580 miles per hour
What?
and more.
So
That
imagine that
storm,
storm.
yeah, that storm is at least 150 years old, and some think, well, more like 300 years old. It's just a big, big old storm. I mean, it. I'm reducing it for almost for humorous effect, but it's a storm. Like we're having a storm today in Connecticut, but this storm, yeah, winds of
Mm.
400 to 600 miles per hour. The storm has been lasting for centuries of our time, and this storm is 10,000 miles wide. So
Oh my
it could
god!
just swallow the planet Earth in that storm. Okay.
Jesus,
Um, so that's,
we're
I mean,
headed
that's
to
what
that.
it is. And it's called an anticyclone. And I didn't know why. That's because the winds are rotating counterclockwise. So it would be a cyclone if
Yeah,
they
it does
turned
look like
it.
a hurricane in
Yeah.
reverse.
Yeah. That's it. That's kind of what it is. So that's what it is. And so what's the latest news? It's shrinking. Scientists think it's shrinking. And while they're not necessarily concerned about that per se, they want to find out why, and they don't know why. They're studying storms around it to see if that's having an effect. So it's something that a lot of people are, doing their PhDs on, and a lot of agencies are involved with. So we don't know, but why it's shrinking, but it is. Doesn't mean it's going to disappear, or it may take another a couple hundred years for it to shrink significantly, so we don't see it. But it's interesting. We think of it as the red spot. It's in the southern hemisphere of Jupiter, but it
Yeah.
is kinetic. It is moving, and it is moving very, very rapidly. So it's a dynamic, living,
Stunned.
breathing thing, if you will.
I'm stunned.
Yeah,
Did not know that.
Jupiter is a fascinating planet. I mean, it's huge. It's huge, and a way to appreciate its hugeness. We know it's the biggest planet in the solar system, but if you were looking at the solar system from afar and just saying, "All right, so what's this solar system about?" What observers would say is, "Well, you have a star, and then you have a planet rotating around it, and not much else." So all the other, they may see the other planets and the asteroids and the gases and whatnot, but basically they would assess it as you have a star and a very big planet, and everything else is a footnote. That's how big Jupiter is. So,
Jesus.
but it's moving. It moves rapidly. It's gaseous. Has a lot of moons. It's an interesting place. But that red spot, which is a visual hallmark, that's a big old storm, an anticyclone. We'll see
Well,
where it
that's
goes. Hmm.
if we ever colonize Jupiter.
We're, we're struggling with Earth. we're
I
struggling
know.
to get
I'm
on Earth.
just saying, in the very far future.
Maybe maybe one of the moons, a Jupiter moon.
Well, I'm just saying we don't want to go to that southern hemisphere.
It's a bad storm. Yeah, no. All sports will
Yeah,
be
it's a
canceled.
it's a
All
little
sporting events.
windy there.
A little windy, exactly.
A little windy.
There's going to be no games, no boating, no
Well,
picnics.
I mean, just picture you could use wind power to to get your
I guess,
electricity there.
I suppose. Yeah, if it didn't rip up the wind power turbine.
Yeah, if it doesn't do that, you know.
Yeah. So kind of cool. All right, you'll never look at Jupiter the same way again.
No, probably not. Oh, and Kyle said Walmart will only close stores with high theft.
Like that, yeah. I understand they're
Who-
opening some stores in Jupiter, but in the northern hemisphere, not the southern, where the weather's bad.
Yeah, they'll be the first. You know, they'll be the first one, right?
Right. That's true.
The space race isn't between
Yeah.
like NASA and the cosmonauts, right?
Yeah.
It's all the space race is Amazon versus Walmart.
Retail. I mean, it is amazing when you think about it that in the moon that we didn't do that. Like, there's not a Coca-Cola sign on the moon. How
I'm surprised,
how did
too.
that? We got bored of traveling to the moon. Once the
'Cause there's nothing
Russians
there.
yeah, well, no, there's great stuff there. There's water. I mean, that's the next big thing. If they want to put people and keep people on the moon for a while, they've got to find water to drink, water for fuel. So, and they're expecting a lot of
You
water.
put an NFL stadium there, Martin,
could.
and
You could.
you'll have people going. You'll have people going. You put a stadium there for the NFL,
Yeah.
and people will go.
Super Bowl on the moon. You got it.
That's right.
How about that punt? That was a 300-yard punt.
Record breaker.
So we'll see.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Amazon versus Tesla, actually.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah. Because he already has his spaceship, doesn't he?
Even with SpaceX, he's ready to go to
Yeah.
Mars now, I think it's a little preliminary. I think we need to go back to the moon first, and then
Yeah.
Elon talks about I forgot the term, sort of bioengineering the planet Mars, to make it habitable, and that's great. But once again, we go back to Neil deGrasse Tyson, who says, "Well, okay, sure, bioengineer Mars, but if you can bioengineer Mars to give us everything we need, we can bioengineer Earth much easier to give us more of what
because
we
we're
need."
already here.
Yeah, we're already here. So if we need less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, more oxygen, whatever. If we figured out how to do that in Mars, where they have none of that, it's so much easier to do it here. The answer to our problems in the short term is not going to Mars. It's fixing up our own backyard.
Yeah, but we don't want to do that.
No.
I mean, look, we're in a country that instead of tearing down a building that's vacant, we just tear down the trees and build a new building.
Building a building. Right, right. Yeah.
Like, I never understood that. It's like, why not just tear down the building or
Mhm. Repurpose it.
completely
Yeah.
overhaul it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, no, we want a new building. So let's use that lot of trees and
Yeah.
cut
Right.
them all down.
It's not like we need trees for anything. So,
It's like it's like we're uh, this country and every other country. I do have to say this world, we're just killing ourselves.
yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Oh, I don't know. All right,
Maybe
let's
we'll
move
learn.
on.
Maybe we'll learn. All right. So now, happier thoughts, right?
Yes, let's go to DC. Let's go to
Okay.
DC.
All right. So
I've
I
been there.
talked about my trip to DC about a month ago, which led me to think of something to do, a little presentation. I can revisit it. If you can't go to Italy, or if you can't go to Rome, because look, maybe it's too expensive, it's too far, you don't have the time, but you want to feel like you're in Rome.
Yeah,
Okay, the alternative, the easier, quicker, and less expensive alternative is to go to DC, get your Rome fix there. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm going to focus on the architecture. So we'll start in Rome. In Rome, there was a building called the Pantheon, named
yeah,
the place for all the gods to be worshipped. Ironically, it is now owned and operated by the Roman Catholic Church, where one God is honored and worshipped. It is a Catholic church, functioning Catholic church today, but it is a preserved bit of history. And the Pantheon was originally built sometime during the reign of Augustus between 27 BC and
right.
14 AD. And it was one of the many building works of Marcus Agrippa. And you can go there today, and on the pediment, it says like in honor of Marcus Agrippa. But that building burned down, and they built a new one in 126 AD, ordered by the Emperor Hadrian. And in the new one, that's where it has the pediment with the rededication to the original commissioner, Marcus Agrippa, which is awesome. It is a spectacular piece of architecture because of a huge dome that covers it with an oculus in the middle that is always open. So if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's hailing, whatever it is, it's all going to come down there. If the sun is shining, it's going to come down there. It is just a spectacular building. It has been standing there since 126 AD, and it is the foundational building of Western architecture. So from there, with that as an inspiration and an engineering guide, architects built, specifically Brunelleschi built the Great Dome of the Duomo in Florence, and that inspired Michelangelo's Dome of St. Peter's in the Vatican. And now let us go to the New World. Let us go to the United States of America, where the founding fathers certainly looked to Rome for
Yeah,
structural guidance of our government. Uh, and subsequent to that, people who continue to design Washington, D.C., also look to Rome for their inspiration. And here's the main topic here. The architect John Russell Pope, an American architect who was
right.
enthralled to Roman history, Roman architecture, studied there, built an American academy there. He designed 3 buildings of note that are in DC, modeled after the Pantheon. So if you need that fix, you can't get the Pantheon, go to DC. And those buildings
Right.
are the Jefferson Memorial, which is like a little Pantheon,
Yep.
and a beautiful, beautiful monument, a memorial to President Jefferson, to the best of his spirit and his instincts. He's a complicated man whom I admire, but he is complicated. And but that memorial, it's a fine building. It's a little baby Pantheon. Okay.
Right.
There is the National Archives gallery. That too, modeled. There is a small dome, much smaller, but inspired by the Pantheon. Wonderful things to see there as well. And then there's the National Gallery of Art, which has that dome, like the Pantheon, and Innocuous that's not opened. It doesn't stay open, but John Russell Pope designed all those buildings with the Pantheon in mind, and they all have something really fantastic. Lots of things, to see
Right.
while you're there. I might add, and I talked about this on the last time I spoke about DC, at the National Gallery of Art, there is the only Leonardo da Vinci painting that's in the Western Hemisphere there. And that is the painting Ginevra da Benci. Interesting painting. It is painted on the front. There is a painting on the back of it. You'll look at it from both sides. And so just if you go to National Gallery of Art, it's like a little Italy experience right there.
Absolutely. You know, it's one of the best cities for architecture
Yeah.
in the United States. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's breathtaking.
Like 250 years of architecture, and it changes from neighborhood to neighborhood. Certainly on the mall, you have the the big buildings, the memorials, the monuments, and again the Capitol, also a nod to the Vatican with that dome there. In fact, when my
Yep.
daughter was a toddler, we had shown her pictures of the Vatican, and she learned to say in a very cute way Vaticano in Italian. We used to live in DC, and all of a sudden we're in front of the Capitol, and she goes, "Oh," points to it, Vaticano. Like, almost, but yeah, you were thinking correctly. Architecture is great. The architecture of the all the embassies that are down there, it's crazy because the one's different from the other, and some of them are big, complex campuses. Some are very modern. Some are Beaux-Arts. So it's an
Yeah.
architectural feast for sure. But all right, so for that Italian fix, you got the three important Pope buildings to see. And then if you want some really good Italian food, there are lots of places. My favorites are Galileo's, uh, a new place called Osteria Mozza, which is in Georgetown. And then my very,
Georgetown
very
is
favorite,
beautiful too.
Iriki, which is in Adams Morgan. So those are three fantastic restaurants, but there's more. So
Oh, there's tons.
yeah, you can't go to Italy, go to DC for 2 or 3 days, and if you go do the John Russell
Yeah.
Pope thing, you'll feel like you're in Italy. So, salute.
Yeah. Like when you think about the architecture from like, Rome and even Greece and all of these places, how could they have constructed these things in their time?
Mm,
It's absolutely incredible that they pulled these things off.
yeah,
I mean, you have a tough time doing it now, let alone back then
well,
without the equipment.
yeah, yeah. It's impressive too that a lot of these buildings are still standing too through
Yeah,
several 100,000 years,
yeah.
wars, earthquakes. Some of these are still.
Yep.
The Pantheon looks brand new. I swear to God.
Like we can't even renovate a bridge around
No,
here.
no, we can't. It's true. True.
Good morning, Becky. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so true though. Like when you think about it, how they build the pyramids and all these things. How did
Yeah.
they do that?
Yeah.
How did they do that?
Yeah, they did. They did the math. They did their math homework. They did the math engineering.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant
yeah,
people back then.
yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Now, not so much.
Oh goodness.
Can we go to Rome? We have
Yes.
Rome at home.
How do we do it? How do we have Rome at home?
I don't
Uh,
know.
I don't know, but we should go to Rome. We should have a going on daily field trip.
Yeah, but that's why we
Get a
need those
spon-
people to send us those
We
bits
need to get a
and
sponsor.
stars.
Yeah, we'll
That
call.
too.
I was gonna. Let's call Perillo Tours. See if they'll do a package with
Oh
us. The
wait,
going on daily tour, and we'll
that's
go
a
to
good
Rome.
segue for this.
Yeah. Okay.
See, sponsor the show.
Woo!
You can easily sponsor the show. Um, your ad will be here. We will read the ad. So not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version for Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. So send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com,
Okay.
and we can send you out the
Woo!
media kit. How about that? That was not even a
Okay.
planned segment right there. Not even planned.
Nice.
That was
Nice.
great. That was great.
Very
So,
smooth. Very smooth.
look, this is
Okay.
episode 2. No, season 2, episode
Season two.
55 Loise means I did it,
Okay. Oh, say more.
right?
Say
You know
more.
what that
What did
means?
you do? What did you do? No, I'm
All
afraid.
right. I had to do something that would be able to top Becky's John Lennon,
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yeah.
and I came up with it. I
All
came
right.
up with it. Fun facts of Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen. This guy has been named in music. He's been quoted in movies and everything, right?
Mm,
He
mhm.
is the king of cool.
For sure. Quiet badass.
Right. You
Absolutely.
know, there's like,
I don't know. But John Lennon, I don't, well, we'll see. We'll see. Game
I don't
on,
know.
Don. You got to
I'm
make your
trying.
case.
I'm trying.
Make your case.
I'm just saying that, the things in this segment are pretty
All
awesome.
right. All right. I'm waiting.
All right.
I'm excited.
So, there's two cool people in this world. One Samuel L. Jackson, and one used to be Steve McQueen. All
Okay.
right, Steve McQueen fun
Can it-
facts. Here we go. There was so many of them, I had to eliminate a bunch.
yeah.
Performed many of his own stunts, including the high-speed chase and Bullet, and this right here in The Great
Wow.
Escape.
Right escape. He did that too.
Yeah,
All right. You know, car chases in movies, they're out of hand now. They're so baroque. They're
yeah,
so for me, my car chases, three best, same, pretty sure same director or producer. Bullet, French Connection, the Seven Ups. And Steve McQueen was the first. So tip of the hat
yeah.
for
And
Bullet.
I'm glad you actually mentioned that French Connection one.
Oh yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Okay. Put a
He's
pin
a
in that.
car.
All right.
He was a car collector, including the
Okay.
1956 Jaguar XKSS, which he bought,
Okay.
sold, and he missed it so much he had to rebuy it. So he bought the
I'm
car
sure he paid a
twice.
premium. He bought it from a guy who said, Steve McQueen used to own it. Yes, I know. Yes, I know Steve McQueen used to own it.
All right. At 17, he joined the Marines. He
Okay.
joined the Marines and he served as a tank driver and mechanic.
Wow.
Tank driver.
Okay.
How cool is
At
that?
17. That's
He
17.
he
Yeah.
blew up
Yeah.
crap.
He did a tank. There's a famous tank scene chasing Patton. I think that was Steve McQueen.
he
I don't know.
he had Becky said she has a fun fact. His grandson was in Vampire Diaries.
Oh, that is
Yeah, there
cool.
was
That's
so many
cool.
I couldn't put all of them. He
Yeah.
served as a pallbearer at Bruce Lee's funeral.
Okay. No, they were close. Okay.
Apparently, like he knew everybody, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah.
wait to the last one.
Okay.
Wait to the last one.
Okay.
He never graduated high school,
All
and his
right.
father was a barnstorming pilot.
Wow. All right. So
Like you
gets his
can't make
impulses
this
from
stuff
that. Yeah.
up. Like this
Yeah.
is who he
Yeah.
is,
But it fits. It fits
right?
perfectly, right?
And
If you had to guess, what did his dad do?
his alcoholic mother sent him to a boys' home. Put him in a
Mm.
boys' home. And then he left the boys' home and he ran with gangs his whole life, right?
Yeah.
Until he joined the Marines.
It's interesting. You said he joined the Marines at 17. The profile fits. He didn't finish high school because look at, that was, I'm going to guess, not a happy
No,
childhood,
I'm
right? And he
guessing
was
not.
looking to get out. And you know what? I bet anything driving tanks for the Marines and repairing them
Yeah.
was more satisfying, more liberating, more fun than under the screws of a boys' home
Yep.
and a disruptive home life with a mom afflicted
It's
with
amazing.
alcoholism.
It's
So
amazing.
good for you. Yeah.
Legend has it, his last words in the hospital was our title of the show. Lo hice.
Okay.
Spanish for I did it.
He did it. He did. He
How
did.
cool is that? That's about as great of an ending as you could get, right?
Yeah. 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 Uh, Very poetic. And he strikes me as not a silent person. He spoke when he needed to
Yeah,
speak, and when he had something to say, it was something of substance. And
absolutely.
it's an interesting, very soft-spoken, understated, and yet profound way to sign off from this life experience.
Absolutely. So he died from mesothelioma in 1980, which is a cancer linked to asbestos. And they're
Yeah,
saying that link is all his racing suits because he used to race.
really. Yeah. Huh. That's interesting because those suits are, your exposure to it when I think the condition is freeable
Yeah.
is when it can be damaging to you, and that's when it's sort of free floating, in the air when it's flaking off of the buildings. And the suits, you would think they were sort of sealed, but I don't know.
Pretty
That's
crazy.
terrible.
So
Okay.
he threatened to break Howard Hughes's nose if he harassed Mamie Van Doren.
Okay.
Howard Hughes,
Okay.
billionaire, right? Or millionaire. I don't know
Yeah.
if he was a billionaire, but back then, a millionaire
He
is a lot of money.
yeah.
Wasn't Lightning
Uh,
McQueen named after him in Cars? Absolutely, 100,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It seems to be a nod. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's who he was. I mean, Bullet is probably my
Mhm.
favorite car in movies, but that
Mm,
goes without
mm.
saying.
Yeah.
Let me see. He was oh, this is a great one. He was slated to star in First Blood until his death.
Really.
He died,
Really.
couldn't be in the
He
movie.
died that long ago. Oh my gosh.
Well, it was 1980 when he died.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
And then the role was given to Sylvester Stallone. Could you imagine that would be completely different from John Rambo,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. It's interesting because what he has is his strength in his stoicism, which Rambo needs. Stallone is buff. All right. I'm not saying McQueen wasn't in good shape, wasn't strong. Stallone was a bodybuilder. He was huge, and it was that
Yeah.
physique that sold it. Yes, he was silent too, but with McQueen, all he had was that inner steel,
Yeah.
and that would have been interesting to
It would
see.
have been
That would have been
interesting. I mean, I love Stallone in that role. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
yeah,
sure
yeah,
anybody
yeah.
could have done it as well. But if there was a
Mhm.
guy, that this would be the guy. This would
Yeah.
be the guy.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Um, let me see. He turned down. Get this. He turned down the roles of Dirty Harry and French
Mm,
Connection
interesting.
because he didn't want to make any more cop movies after Bullet.
Okay. Well,
Like, that
there
speaks
you go.
volumes.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Those are such iconic roles for Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman. You can't imagine anyone else in them, but yeah, I could see Steve McQueen doing now that he says that,
Yeah,
you can see where the producers would have liked him in those
it's
roles for sure.
amazing. And I'll leave
Yeah.
this one for the last one. There's so many more. There's so many more.
Yeah.
Like, I could have been writing this forever, but this
Mhm.
one is going to paint a huge picture. Huge
Mm,
picture.
okay.
He was invited to dinner at Roman Polanski, Sharon Tate's home by Jay
Okay.
Sebring, but canceled due to a secret rendezvous with a mystery woman.
Ah,
So he canceled it the night of the murders.
wow.
Could you imagine? Now it is said
Yeah.
that he
Mhm.
was the first name on the list of Manson's death list,
Manson people.
right? And
Right.
he might have been the target that night.
Mm.
So since
He might have. Well, what's the movie Quentin Tarantino made? Hollywood,
Once Upon a
Hollywood
Time in
Story.
Hollywood. Oh
Yeah,
my God,
Once Upon
that
a Time
was
in
such a
Hollywood.
great
That sort of
movie.
right. Maybe it would have played out like that if had Steve McQueen been there.
It
Yeah.
might have because Steve McQueen
Yeah.
is a badass.
Yes. Yeah.
It might have gone down like that.
That's
So, I
crazy.
mean, I
That's yeah.
can't like when I saw that, I was stunned, stunned,
Hmm.
stunned. Becky, I
That
actually don't know how old he was when he died. I
I don't think he was an old man, but he wasn't a
I think
kid.
he was in his
He died
40s or
too
something,
young.
right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like late
Yeah.
40s?
Yeah, he should have lived longer, but wasn't a kid, but he's not an old man. Did not live to a ripe old age.
No.
Yeah.
And it's too
That
bad.
is something.
It's too bad. But that right there threw me for a loop because what could have
Ron, do you
been?
have a favorite? Yeah. What could have been? Yeah. Do you have a favorite Steve McQueen movie?
Bullet, absolutely Bullet.
Bullet.
Yeah.
Bullet is sort of my number two. The number one is, and it's more for nostalgic reasons, is The Getaway.
That's a
You know,
good
with
one too.
Ally
That I
McBeal.
like that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to see that. It's a funny story. I've said before, my mom didn't like taking me to movies that didn't have Julie Andrews in it. But for some reason, I will never understand how this happened. It was, I believe, a double feature with the musical movie Maine with Lucille Ball. And that was the first one. And the second one of the double feature was the Sam Peckinpah's The Getaway. I don't know who put those films together,
I don't know.
but my parents took us, and for some reason they sat through The Getaway. I was stuck. I'm like, when are mom and dad going to drag us out of here? But what a terrific, exceedingly violent film. But everyone was great in it. Everyone was great in The Getaway.
Yeah,
That's a
he didn't like gratuitous violence, nudity, and swearing in movies either. He didn't like it.
mm,
You know, that was another one of those
well,
things that I left off.
yeah. Gratuitous in The Getaway. There's a lot of violence, but is it gratuitous? It's a violent
Yeah,
story about violent people.
yeah.
If anything, understated. So,
It's
well, that was great, Ron.
yeah, I loved it. When I thought of it, I was like, "Huh, let's do this." You know, like I could have
Yeah.
done like a top 5 Steve McQueen movies, but
Mhm.
I wanted to do the fun facts because there was some interesting stuff
It's
on there, and
a fascinating
it
life.
was
Yeah.
I caught myself just reading all the things and just
Yeah.
admiring, you know, the star, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it made me refocus on his career, and I'm gonna have to
Mm.
start watching a lot of the movies again. Gonna have to.
I don't think there's a bad one in
No,
the
I don't think
in
there
the
is. I don't think there is. And
yeah.
the thought that
Yeah.
I get with the stuff that he turns down, it's like you start thinking of those
Yeah.
movies, and you're like, wow, what would have been with him?
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be an interesting segment to do. Movies where, who turned down this role? Like, who turned down this role in The
Absolutely.
Godfather,
I,
or who turned this role in,
I'm
like, Steve
guessing.
McQueen,
I'm guessing Becky's gonna do that tomorrow. So
There you
Becky,
go.
when if you
Yeah.
can look it up, how old he is, because I'd like to actually know the factual time, the age, because no matter what it was too young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lost a great one there. All
Mhm.
right, that was so like I feel like pumped up for doing that segment. I'm like so happy about that segment. So
Uh,
you know, certainly going to be an impact.
yeah.
Let's talk about some best salad dressing recipe.
That is a wimpy thing to follow, the tribute to Steve
Hey,
McQueen. But
it takes a tough guy to be able to, talk about salads. Let's go.
so, well, listen, in the sense of, people, I like cooking at home, and if I can find some things that I can make at home easier and less expensive than buying CRAP at the store, I'll do it. And even more importantly, I think it just tastes better. So I haven't bought salad dressing in at least 5 years, maybe a little longer. It's after I discovered this recipe.
I better check the
And
dates on
it's
mine.
from, yeah, it's this recipe comes from the Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant, not in California, but the replica in Disney World in Florida, where they took the recipes and some of the signature dishes from the original. And the beautiful part about this is its simplicity, really, and it's so tasty. And I'm telling you, every time I make it and someone has it, like, this is incredible. Give me the recipe. Give me the recipe. So what I'll do, I'll say what the recipe is, and if it's a little labor intensive, not too much, but make a double batch. That's what I do. Whenever I make a double batch.
So,
This is the regular
not to
size.
interrupt, but Becky said that
Yeah,
he was
interrupt.
50 years old, born in 1930
Okay.
to 1980, and she called us wimpy for talking about salads.
Yeah, she should. Well, had I known I was following Steve McQueen, I would have done something else, like, you know,
I'm sure
like,
Steve
like,
McQueen ate salad.
uh,
If they put him in a
maybe,
commercial
and
for health foods like that, everybody would be buying it.
if he went to the Hollywood Brown Derby, he's probably had this salad dressing. So let's let's see. All right, you'll listen. Make fun of me. I'm down with that. But if you make this and have it, you'll thank me later. So that's okay. You start off with 2 tablespoons of water.
That
Easy
I can
enough.
do.
Two, 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. 1 tablespoon fresh lemon juice. Half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Half a teaspoon of salt or to taste. Half a teaspoon of minced garlic. Half a teaspoon of sugar. An eighth of a teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. Yeah, you know what that is? A little bit. Don't. uh, eighth of a teaspoon of dry English mustard. Third of a cup of vegetable oil. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Whisk it together. Love the best salad dressing you have ever had. And if you want to eat healthy, more healthy, cut down in sugar, have this. There's a little sugar in here. Switch it out. You won't even miss it. Easy to make, and you will never go back to buying bottle dressing.
I'm
Guaranteed.
gonna have to try it.
Guaranteed. And I'll tell you, I tinkered with it a little because sometimes now that I'm of a certain age, vinegar is bothering me, which also irritates me. So I pare down the vinegar, still tastes great. So you can adjust it to your sensitivities or
Mm.
sensibilities or your palate. But the reason why this is so good is it's flavorful and everything is fresh, and it will transform your by the way, use a salad dressing. Yeah, spoon some on your vegetables. You want to flavor up your vegetables, put a couple
Now, what
tablespoons
kind of
on your
dressing
steamed
does
vegetables.
this compare to? Like what type is it?
This is a classic European, Western European style dressing. If you go to France, Italy, Greece, Spain, they're probably dressing their salads with something like this, maybe even less busy, just the olive oil and the vinegar and a couple of seasonings. But this is, as opposed to American dressings, are loaded with sometimes creams and mayonnaises. And it's not like I don't like that,
I
but
don't.
it's a different flavor profile. It's a different fatty profile. But also your Italian and French dressings that you get in the bottle loaded with sugar and the oils. Rarely is it a good olive oil. So the taste is so different. In this, it's going to be flavors are going to pop that you never realized were there before, and it's going to complement your vegetables in the salad so beautifully. Look, there's nothing like fresh lemon juice to perk up anything you're making, even
Right.
if you're just squeezing fresh lemon juice on your vegetables or in your tea, if you will. It's a powerful flavor agent, very healthy for you. So a little something. Try it. Fellas, impress your girlfriends. I'm gonna make you dinner, and then you whip
Oh,
that
there you
out, and then
go. There you go.
there you go.
See,
Yeah.
Kyle, Hugo, that's what you got to do right there.
Becky was asking if we ever had tableside made Caesar. I did, and I don't remember where, but I enjoyed watching them make it, and I enjoyed the freshness of it. Right, right then and there. They're putting it together 1 second. I'm eating it the next, and it tasted fantastic. It's a good dressing. Caesar's a good
Wait,
dressing.
Caesar's
Um,
was invented in Tijuana?
why not? What? My understanding was it was invented by a restaurateur named Caesar Cardini, and let's say that is absolutely true. I don't know where he's from. He could have done it, and could have happened in Tijuana. I don't
That would be interesting. Like
an
I'd be
interesting
surprised, right? Like I'm thinking,
The Caesar
in
salad.
Europe somewhere it was made, somewhere around the
Yeah,
Mediterranean or something, you know?
yeah. No, I think it's a Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Kyle cooks all the time. Kyle, weigh in on the dressings. Have you made either a Caesar dressing or any kind of homemade salad dressing? We'll find
That's
out.
pretty interesting. See, this is part of the reason why we do this show, right? We get interesting facts about just random things,
Yeah,
and somebody learns something along the way, and then we find out when the fans are interacting what they do,
yeah,
and it's absolutely amazing, and this is why I love this show.
yeah. Hugo makes his own. He calls it avocado mayo, but with no
Yeah.
mayonnaise. So I guess he's making like a something like a guacamole. But again, things like this, once you have it, you will be loath to go and buy store bought again because the flavor is
I'm
so
gonna
different.
try it. I'm gonna try it. I gotta make an order for Shores, and I'm getting, all the healthy stuff. So,
Okay.
because I don't like getting it, from other places because I like Shaw's like
Okay.
produce stuff like
You
that.
like Shaw's? When I lived in Quincy, I would go to Shaw's all the
Yeah,
time.
it's the produce
That
around
was my
here. I've gone to all the markets, and I don't like
yeah.
the produce anywhere else around here.
You like Shaw's?
I like
Good. Well, I'm
Shaw's
glad they're
produce.
I'm glad they're still a going concern doing good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. All
Hugo
right.
said my folks have used that dressing forever.
Okay, that's the
Yeah, because
avocado, I'm
his
guessing.
from Portugal, right? So
Mm,
you
mm.
just bringing those roots back into things,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's quite amazing. I love it. I think this has been an amazing show today. Like the things we learned. Storms on
Steve
Jupiter.
McQueen. Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right, that was awesome.
Thank you, Rob.
Martin, I thank you for that because I don't really like a lot of salad dressings, but I'm gonna try it
Okay.
and I'm gonna see if I like it.
Try this.
So
Okay, good.
I might ease up
Good
on the
deal.
vinegar a little because I'm not a vinegar guy.
Then do that. Absolutely do that. It'll still work. Kyle says he makes a fresh Italian dressing. I'd be curious as to what he puts into it.
There we go. There we go. All right. So the time. Oh, We're running. Hey, this is pretty good though for
Currently,
me. So this is, you know, it's time for Ron's top five. This is going to be absolutely incredible.
okay.
Incredible. I know you're so
I see
cultured,
Hannah.
Martin. This is right up your alley,
I love the Hanna Barbera. I grew up with the Hanna Barbera
right?
cartoons.
That's what I did too.
Look,
And let me tell you how difficult this was. Let me tell you.
I was 7 when I asked my parents in my 7-year-old voice. I think the Flintstones is a lot like the
It
Honeymooners.
is. It is.
It is the
It
Honeymooners.
is. It's
It is
the
the
animated
Honeymooners.
version of the Honeymooners. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right.
So there are so many, and there are so many that didn't even make my list, right? I'm
They made
talking,
a lot.
look, the Smurfs, Hanna-Barbera. Not on my list. Just letting you know. Letting you know, Kenny, the Smurfs are not on my list. And I know he
Okay.
loves the Smurfs. I know he
Forewarned.
does because he's that guy. He's that guy. So what is the restaurant, Martin? That's what Becky wants
I'm
to know.
typing it now. Uh, it was the Hollywood Brown Derby as recreated at Disney's Hollywood Studios theme park in Florida.
There we go.
And it's a replica of the restaurant and a lot of their classic recipes.
So I guess Hugo, these are his favorite cartoons too. This
Okay.
is going to be a tough list. You may or may not like
Hmm.
it. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
All right, so there are the Powerpuff Girls, Richie Rich, Secret Squirrel, Johnny Quest, Snorks.
Secret
Remember them?
Squirrel. I don't. I remember Secret Squirrel.
Yeah.
What about
Berenstain
Space
Bears,
Ghost? That was
Hanna
Hanna-Barbera?
Barbera,
Huh,
Johnny
huh.
Bravo, Thunder the Barbarian, Peter Potamus.
Remember
All not
that?
on my
Yeah.
list.
Okay. Well, Peter Potamus, deservedly so, not on your list.
Right.
Okay.
Josie and the Pussycats,
Yep.
Blue Falcon and Dino
I
Mutt, the Hillbilly Bears, Huckleberry Hound,
Huckleberry Hound.
not on my
Did
list.
not make your list. Did not make your list. Okay.
And it pains me to put some of these in perspective. Like I love Captain Caveman. Didn't make my list.
Okay.
Wally Gator, Jabberjaws, Grape Ape, Snagglepuss. Not on my list. I couldn't believe
Not on
this.
your
Right?
list.
Speed Buggy,
Only 5. Okay.
Adamant, Up and
Hmm.
Adamant. Not on my list.
Not on the list. Not on the
Alf is
list.
still my favorite show. Kyle. I like
Okay.
Alf. I think it's a good show. Lippy the Lion, Hardy Har Har. Do you remember them? Magilla Gorilla
Yes. I remember Magilla
and
Gorilla.
Squidly Diddly
Yep. Remember
did
that.
not make my list.
But none
None
of
of
these are
them.
on the list. They don't belong on the top 5 list. They have their place, not top
Yeah,
5.
I mean, I love all of those, right? Okay, so honorable mentions. They didn't even make honorable mentions. That's how tough this list is. Honorable mention: Quick Draw McGraw. There's where all the Western in me
Okay.
came to fruition. Is Quick Draw McGraw. Loved it.
Okay. Any Howard Stern fans here? Any Howard
Well,
Stern?
we all know who Howard Stern is.
All right.
You go.
Do you
watch-
know the link between Howard Stern and Quick Draw McGraw?
There's a okay.
There is. There is. All right. Howard's long-term producer, on-air personality, and butt of his wrath, Gary Delabate, has a nickname, Baba Booey. That name comes
Yeah,
from
his
he
sidekick.
was talking about Quick Draw McGraw and Baba
Yeah.
Louie. And he didn't realize it was named Baba Louie. He thought it was Baba Booey.
Yeah.
And everyone started making fun of him, and they started calling him Baba Booey. So that's how we got the name, through Quick Draw McGraw.
That's pretty
Quick
awesome.
Draw
That's
McGraw.
pretty awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great story. Hugo has
All
watched
right.
all of these. The cartoon version was good of Alf. There was a cartoon version.
About interesting.
Hide your cat,
Okay.
Kyle. Alf is around. That's what Hugo just said. All right, honorable mention, and I cannot believe when I first did this list, I thought for sure it would be in my top 5, and it was
Okay.
really like number 9. Hong
Okay.
Kong
Okay.
Phooey. I loved Hong Kong Phooey. Hong Kong Phooey.
Hong Kong. Yep. There you go.
Oh, it was
Okay.
great.
Look, you got it. It earned an honorable
He
mention.
did. He did. Number 3. I mean, 3 on my honorable list mention. Banana
Yeah.
Splits.
Yeah. Oh, I think of that as Sid and Marty Krofft.
Yes.
But that was Hanna-Barbera. Okay. Right. Okay. All
I
right.
think. Wait,
Well, look,
was it?
and there was Johnny Quest was part of that show. Yeah, so it had to be Hanna-Barbera. But that wasn't animated. It was sort of
Right,
it
and it
wasn't
had little mini
hand-drawn
cartoons
animation.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it belongs on an
Yeah, I
honorable
used to
mention.
watch it all the time,
Embarrassing.
religiously.
As did I. I had 2 or 3 record albums of Banana Split songs that were premiums on sugared cereals. You would clip it off the back of the cereal box, And I was, as a kid, I was like, wait, you're going
I
to cut up the
had
cereal box and there's going to be a
I
record?
had that too. I had it too.
So,
I loved it.
yeah.
Loved it. And
Okay.
here's another one I absolutely thought I was going to have on my list. Honorable mention, Laugh Olympics.
I never
The
heard of them.
Scooby
Don't remember
Doobies,
them.
the Yogi Yahooies, and the Really Rottens.
Okay. And they would
They would
have
have
like
races,
an
and then
Olympic
Really
and
Rottens would
it
always cheat.
funny.
So you
Okay.
never knew who was
Of
going to
course.
win.
Sure. Mm.
And then my bubble. And I thought this was going to be in there as well. And it did not make it. Top Cat. Absolutely love Top Cat.
TC. It would probably be on my top 5. I would find room for Top Cat because I loved it, and I loved Sergeant Bilko so much. There's got to be
Yeah.
a place for Top Cat. But honorable mention, thank goodness.
Look,
all right, we can
it
that.
would probably be there for most people because I have one on here that I don't think everyone would choose.
Okay.
But I used to watch it all the time. I used to love it.
Mhm.
All right. With that being said, number 5 is the Jetsons.
Jetsons.
Jetsons
got
is
to be in the
number
top
5. I used to love the show. It followed number 4, the Flintstones.
Wait, Flintstones is only number 4?
Only number 4.
That's a bitter pill to swallow.
I know. I'm like, and like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure if this is the right order because it's that close with all of this, right? It's that close.
It's like
We're splitting hairs.
Nanoseconds of differences.
Right.
Yeah.
Hugo says wacky wheels. Why do I not remember?
I think he means the wacky racers. Yeah, I think he means the wacky racers. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the All-Star Laugh Olympics. There was 2 different ones. So the wacky racers might have been the updated one. Or vice versa. I don't remember.
Becky's giving a shout out to the Jetsons.
Yes, she is.
Let me echo, for those who like contemporary music, forget the lyrics. Just listen to the music of the Jetsons theme song. It is some crazy but rhythm going on there, some sort of 5/8 time syncopated. I would have guessed Leonard Bernstein or Igor Stravinsky wrote that. So it's a great theme song. One of the great cartoon theme songs.
It's a great song. Jetsons. Love it. Love it. All right. Now, see, I know everybody's thinking that the Flintstones got robbed and all that, and I get that. I get it.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Not this new stuff that they have, not the Scrappy and the whatever. Yeah. No. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Those, the original ones, right? Those were the best.
Those meddling kids.
Right.
I would have had the fortune. Let me give a shout out to Scooby-Doo, the original, because they were, as you know, we probably watched them since season 1, and we were little when that was happening. But it really set the stage for children to think skeptically. It's like, no, those weren't vampires. Those were some people looking to steal the fortune of the people who own the house next door, or that wasn't werewolves or ghouls. Those were bank robbers. And think critically and skeptically. People are saying, never was there really a haunted house. It was always a scam. And what upset me, and I'll put upset in quotes, is on later iterations of Scooby-Doo, the things became real. There were ghosts. And I thought, no, you just killed the franchise. The genius of it was that these meddling kids were smart. They used the scientific method. They used rational thinking, and they weren't afraid of the ghosts or any of the other BS that. And so that was got a big tip of the hat to Scooby-Doo. But why? Why did you change it?
I know. I didn't like all the changes. It was not as good. And then when you add the Scrappy and Dum Dum and all these other characters, no, stop.
Yeah.
Go back to the roots. All right.
Great voice.
Now, Hugo posted, "Hey Boo Boo," and look, I love Yogi Bear. He
Yeah.
did not make my
Yeah.
list. Didn't even make honorable
Didn't make
mention because
How did it not make an honorable mention? Oh, Ron, big misstep
I,
here.
I, I'm telling you, I was a fan of the Scooby Doobies, not the Yogi Yahooies.
Okay.
No, but I mean, I just
Ah,
like Quick Draw, Hong Kong Fooey, Banana Splits, Laugh Olympics, Top Cat, all more than
yeah,
Yogi.
then Yogi.
And
Not
I
even
love
an honorable
Yogi.
mention.
Love Yogi.
You know, when I just went to Yellowstone for the first time in 2023, and I swear, God is my witness, at least 20 times a day, I would be compelled to say, "Hey, look, a picnic
Oh, I
basket."
know. I love
And
it.
I
I
don't know
love it.
how my wife put up with that. I don't know. But
There's a
there were lots of
campground,
picnic
I believe in New
baskets.
Hampshire,
Jellystone.
Jellystone.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
went there and they have this big, huge thing of Yogi there.
yeah.
So I look,
Okay.
I'm a fan of I'm a fan of all of these things, even most of them that are not on the list. I love them. I used to love these cartoons, right? Number 2
Okay.
is going to be the one that I know people would replace with something else, whether it's Top Cat, whether
Okay.
it's Yogi. But number 2 for me was Super Friends because I used to love DC and I used to love all
Yeah.
the superheroes and I used to watch that over and over and over. So I had to put it there. Had to be
You had to
number
put
2.
Super Friends.
I would every day I would make sure that I watched all the Super Friends cartoons.
Super Friends.
And that was a
Do
must.
you rem
That was a
do you
must.
remember who was the narrator, who voiced the narrator for that? For Super
I don't
Friends?
know.
You're gonna love this. The one and only inimicable Ted Knight, formerly of Ted Baxter,
Oh,
Mary Tyler
wow,
Moore fame.
was he?
That is Ted Knight.
I never knew
Super
that.
friends were in trouble, but
Oh my
Aquaman was able
god,
to rescue
yes.
them.
Oh my god, yes. That's right.
Ted Knight. Yeah.
Oh my, I never knew that. Never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, form of water. All the Wonder Twins and the dog and I
Yeah.
used to love that show so much. But there is one that I think stood over the rest because I can still watch it.
Okay.
Tom and Jerry. So Kyle, yes, there is Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is number 1 for me. I used to love Tom and Jerry. I still do. I loved the movie that they had a couple of years ago. You know, I loved
Okay.
it. I thought it brought out what Tom and Jerry really was.
Mm,
And
mm,
you know, the battle between the two, you know, you throw in Spike in there once in a while. You know, I
mhm,
just love Tom and Jerry. I watched it over and over and over. I remember coming home from school and they would have all like for like 2 3 hours in a row of all Tom and Jerry, and I would watch it
mm,
all. Tom and Jerry and
mhm.
Friends, and I'd watch all the cartoons because they showed all the old ones.
Okay.
It was absolutely incredible. I think
Yeah.
between the music, which
Mhm.
was classical, you know,
Yeah.
and the music tells you what they're saying.
Mhm.
I mean, it was perfect. It couldn't have been any better. They did such a masterful job in the Tom and Jerry cartoons, and I absolutely loved it. Number 1.
Okay. Well, they're a classic. It's hard, and they predate all the, so many of these others too. So they had lasting power. They had cinema power. They were big screen as well as your TV. So they deserve a place there for sure.
Absolutely. Look at all of
Eh,
these. Like all of these cartoons was so
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many of them. You know,
I
they don't make it like that.
I I liked the Wacky Racers a lot, but what I liked even more was the spinoff Dick Dastardly
And
and
his
the flying whatever,
flying machines.
flying time machine. And the character of his dog Muttley was one of my favorite cartoon characters. That's the
I
laugh.
know,
That's the
I know.
laugh.
I love
That's
it.
I
I
can't
love
do
it.
Muttley's laugh. Yeah. But he would just want anything for medals. Medals. Fine, Muttley, Mom. And, it would kill me.
Oh, it's so
Uh,
great. Like,
yeah.
this is nostalgia right here.
Yeah.
I really wish the cartoons of today were like this, to be honest with you. And kids these days don't know what they're missing. They don't know.
They were great. When I was raising my kids, I made sure they watched them. They definitely made sure they had some Hanna-Barbera, and they also Hanna-Barbera, another shout out, they did a Star Trek series too
Mm.
with some of the voices of the original
Oh,
actors, and
yeah.
that kept that franchise going. So hats off for them for that as well. But we love the Hanna-Barbera, and they were good things for the kids to watch for sure.
Yeah.
I think the best thing done in contemporary times in that vein, and it was a Disney project, but I think it was a real nod to Hanna-Barbera, was Kim Possible. That
Yes.
was a
Yeah.
great animated
Yep.
series. I still have a crush on Kim's mom, Dr. Possible. I don't know if is that wrong?
Is that
Is that
possible?
wrong to be attracted to a cartoon character? I know it's possible, but you could see what few good things are out today. They have real links to the work of Hanna
Oh,
Barbera. They set the
absolutely.
bar.
And I believe today is Joseph Barbera's birthday.
Ah, happy birthday!
So that is
Happy
why
birthday.
that came about.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the
Okay.
list, I realized how much of my childhood was spent on Hanna-Barbera.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, that was the background to people of our generation. That was the background to their
Yeah,
childhood. That was a big
absolutely.
part. It's sort of taken over, I think, with the music of John Williams. By the time we got to the end of the 70s, the second part, now we're more into movies, and so everything is John Williams and all those great films. But up until that, in those early
Yeah.
years, all Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Every day.
amazing, an amazing
Every day.
time. That was my most difficult top 5 ever, and I've had some tough ones, let me tell you.
Yes.
That was tough because I'm leaving out things that I'm like, I can't leave this off the list, but I had to. I had to leave something. I had to leave some off, you know?
Tell him something. Yogi Hurt. Yogi Hurt. If you were going to reconsider and find a little room, at least in the honorable
I don't
mentions
know.
for
I
Yogi
can't.
Hurt.
I don't know if I could.
You
I mean, obviously, the
can't,
last one, my number 10 would be Quick Draw McGraw. I would have to remove him to put Yogi there, and I don't know if I can do that.
you can't live with yourself and do that, I guess.
You know,
Okay.
that and Captain Caveman. I thought for sure he'd be in there. I was like,
Mm.
I loved it. Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a hard task. A hard task.
Yes, it was.
You
All
do-
right. So tomorrow at 10 a.m., we are back. I am back with Becky Turner. Let's see what she brings in tomorrow. I cannot wait. You got to be here at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. if you're in Edmonton. And I believe it is 9 a.m. if you're in North Dakota.
You know, I would get up at 8 a.m. to watch it if I was in Edmonton. And first of all, 8 a.m. is a better time for me. So I would, so Edmontonites, get up and watch.
That's
the show.
right. So Becky says she's got some good topics tomorrow. So I cannot wait.
Doubt.
This has been a blast today. One of my favorite shows, Martin. Thank you so much.
Listen, it was a good one. Hanna-Barbera, Steve McQueen, can't go wrong.
Right?
Can't go wrong.
You know, we
Red
talked
Dot
Jupiter. I mean, we had a recipe for salad dressing, which I'm going to try probably most likely Wednesday.
Okay.
Because I got to still make the order. So I got to make sure I have everything.
Okay.
So, look, if you missed most of this show, go back to the beginning right after we're done here. And, you know, that's the best advice I can give you. Rewatch it.
Right.
Rewatch it.
Okay.
And share. We'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everyone.